Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're taking a look at something pretty amazing, something called photodynamic therapy. It's like using light to heal. We got the idea from Cocktail Party Chemistry, episode 97, and let me tell you, this stuff is fascinating.
It really is. Using light to treat diseases, even cancer, it's incredible what we can do these days.
Right, so PDT uses these things called photosensitizers. What are they? They sound kind of, well, sci-fi.
I guess they do, but really they're just special molecules, harmless on their own. But when you expose them to a specific wavelength of light, they become pretty powerful, like a weapon against disease.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So it's the light that activates them.
Exactly. And that's why photodynamic therapy is so precise. We can design these photosensitizers to target very specific cells, like, say, cancer cells.
Yeah.
And when they get hit with that light, they create reactive oxygen species. And those basically, well, they destroy the targeted cells.
So like tiny little assassins, that's incredible. But how do they make sure they only attack the bad cells?
Well, that's where the precision of the light comes in. Doctors can direct the light very carefully to just the area that needs treatment.
So they avoid the healthy tissue? That's amazing.
Yep, it really is a combination of chemistry and optics working together for targeted therapy.
It sounds so much gentler than chemo or radiation.
That's one of the big advantages, yeah. Fewer side effects.
So what kinds of things is it used for now? Cancers.
Cancers, skin conditions, it's pretty amazing. Some skin cancers, like basal cell carcinoma, and even precancerous lesions. And they're having some success with lung and esophageal cancer, too.
Wow. Beyond cancer, though, you said skin conditions.
Oh, yeah. Acne, psoriasis, even things like age-related macular degeneration. That can cause vision loss, But PDT is helping with that, too.
It's really making a difference, then.
Definitely.
What about the future, though? Where's the research going?
Well, expanding applications, that's a big one. Trying it for other cancers, even infectious diseases. Imagine using light to kill bacteria.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. They're also trying to make it more effective. New photosensitizers that are more precise, maybe activated by different wavelengths, to treat things deeper inside the body.
So much potential.
Oh, yeah. We've really just scratched the surface. PDT is a pretty young field, really.
It's kind of mind-blowing. I have to admit, at first, I was a little skeptical. Light to heal sounded a little, I don't know, too good to be true.
I understand. It does sound a bit futuristic. But the science is there, it's real, and the more research we do, the more we understand just how effective it can be.
So it's more than just shining a light and hoping for the best.
Oh, for sure. It's very precise. The right photosensitizer, the right light dosage, targeting the right area, chemistry, physics, medicine, all working together.
That's what I love about Cocktail Party Chemistry, though.
Yeah.
They take these really complex things and make them fascinating,
Yeah.
You want to learn more.
Definitely. They get you curious, those aha moments that make science so cool.
They give you just enough, and then you want to, go deeper.
Exactly. And it's up to us to do the digging and really understand the whole story.
Well, this has definitely sparked my curiosity.
It is pretty amazing, the power of light, to heal.
It makes you wonder, what other things we haven't discovered yet? What else can we do with science?
Right. So many possibilities.
And Cocktail Party Chemistry, they have other great episodes, too. Like, did you hear about the one about THCV?
What's that?
It's a cannabinoid, but it suppresses appetite. The opposite of the munchies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And lovastatin, have you heard of that?
No.
It's a cholesterol-lowering drug. But it's made from a fungus.
No way.
Yeah. Nature's pretty amazing, right?
It really is. Full of surprises.
They even did one on marine and fungal toxins, the darker side of nature. But still fascinating.
I bet.
So back to PDT.
Yeah.
This targeted approach is incredible. But what about the patients? What's it like to actually go through this therapy?
Well, it depends. What's being treated, what kind of PDT, But generally, first, they get the photosensitizer. Could be topical, oral, or intravenous. Then they wait. A few hours, maybe a few days.
To let it get to the bad cells.
Right. Then the light show.
Ah, the main event.
They use a light source. Could be lasers or LEDs. And that activates the photosensitizer.
And that's what starts destroying the bad cells.
Exactly.
Does it hurt, the light,
Sometimes. Some people feel a little pain or a tingling. Others, nothing at all. Some redness and swelling maybe, but that goes away pretty quickly.
Sounds manageable.
For most people, yeah.
It's amazing, really, using light to treat all these things.
It really shows how creative science can be, doesn't it?
It does.
And we're just getting started, really.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, what other discoveries are out there just waiting. But speaking of discoveries, maybe we should take a closer look at how PDT actually works, like on a cellular level. We've talked about photosensitizers and reactive oxygen species and all, but what's really going on inside those cells when the light hits?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that too. It all sounds, well, pretty amazing, but I'd love to understand the nitty-gritty, the actual cellular process.
Okay, so picture this. It's all about a chain reaction. Remember the reactive oxygen species?
Yeah.
The ones created when the photosensitizer meets the light? Those are highly reactive molecules, and when there are too many of them, well, they can really mess up a cell, cause something called oxidative stress. The cell just can't handle it. Like imagine little Pac-Mans, gobbling up parts of the cell until it just stops working.
So the photosensitizers are like sneaking into a cell, lying in wait, and then the light hits, and bam! Those reactive oxygen species, they just go to town.
That's a great way to put it. It's like a Trojan horse, using the body's own systems to deliver the therapy exactly where it's needed. And the best part is, healthy cells, they don't really absorb as much of the photosensitizer, so they're mostly unharmed.
That's incredible. It seems so delicate, that balance. But how do they know how much is enough? Enough reactive oxygen species to destroy the bad cells, but not too much to damage the good ones.
It's all about the dosage of both the photosensitizer and the light, carefully calculated depending on what they're treating, the size of the area, the patient's health. Think of it like baking, you need just the right amount of each ingredient.
That makes sense. Too much of a good thing and all that.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have trained professionals administering PDT. They understand all the nuances.
So much skill involved.
Yeah.
It's really amazing what they can do. Speaking of amazing, what about the future? Where's PDT headed? Any big challenges, big breakthroughs?
Oh, tons. One of the biggest challenges right now is depth penetration. PDT is great for surface stuff, skin conditions, tumors near the surface. But deeper tissues, that's harder. Light can only go so deep, Limits what we can treat.
Like a flashlight that can light up a room but can't reach into the really dark corners?
Perfect analogy. But scientists are working on it. New wavelengths of light that can go deeper, new photosensitizers that work with those wavelengths. It's like upgrading to a searchlight.
That's what I like to hear. Anything else they're working on?
Targeting, that's another big one. More precise photosensitizers that really zero in on the bad cells. And nanotechnology, that's playing a huge role. Imagine tiny nanoparticles carrying the photosensitizer and then guided by antibodies or something straight to the target, like little guided missiles.
Wow, that sounds like science fiction. But seriously, if we could do that, that would be incredible.
It's a really exciting area, and they're also looking at combining PDT with other treatments like chemo or immunotherapy,
Yeah.
hitting the disease from all sides.
It's really about collaboration, isn't it? Bringing all these different fields together.
It is, and that's what makes it so exciting. There's always something new happening.
So much potential. But all this talk about the future, it makes me curious about the past. Where did it all begin? How did PDT even come about?
Ugh. The origins of PDT, it goes way back. Ancient Egypt, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They used sunlight to treat skin conditions.
Wow, ancient Egypt. Seriously. But how do we go from that to, the PDT we have today?
It was a slow process, Discoveries here and there in chemistry and medicine. In the early 1900s, a German scientist, Hermann von Toppener, he noticed something interesting. Some dyes, when exposed to light, they actually killed microorganisms.
That's pretty amazing for back then. I bet they got people thinking.
Oh, definitely. It was a big deal. Then, in the 1960s, another breakthrough. They discovered a compound called hematoporphyrin derivative, HPD for short. And it could be used as a photosensitizer to treat tumors. That really kicked off PDT research.
So HPD, that was the first, real photosensitizer.
Yeah, you could say that. It really paved the way for everything that came after.
It's amazing what we can accomplish when we just keep researching, keep innovating.
Absolutely. And the technology keeps improving. Who knows what the future holds for PDT?
I can't wait to see what they come up with next. But, we've been talking a lot about the science, the history. Let's bring it back to the listener for a second. Why should they care about PDT? What's the take-home message here?
I think it's about hope. For anyone dealing with a health problem, especially things like cancer, skin diseases, PDT offers another option, a treatment that's often less invasive with fewer side effects.
So it's about giving people more choices.
Exactly. More choices, more control, and hope that we can beat these diseases.
That's a great way to put it. And it just shows the journey of science, it never really ends. There's always more to learn, more to discover.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, we've really just scratched the surface of photodynamic therapy today.
It's true. There's so much more to it.
If light can heal, what else is out there? What other amazing things can we do with science? It makes you think, doesn't it?
It definitely does. It's an exciting time to be alive.
This deep dive has been incredible, but we've covered a lot, and I think it's time for a little break. We'll be back soon to wrap things up with the final part of our look at photodynamic therapy. All right, we're back. We've talked about how photodynamic therapy works, where it came from, even some of the ethical stuff. But I keep thinking about the people, the ones actually going through this. What's it really like?
Yeah, it's important to remember that. The human side of things. PDT, it can be different for everyone, depends on what they're treating, the type of PDT. But there are some common things, I guess.
Like the photosensitivity.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Being really sensitive to sunlight. Patients really need to be careful. No sun for a while after treatment.
To avoid getting burned?
Exactly. Sunscreen, hats, long sleeves, the whole 9 yards. And for some people, it can last quite a while. Weeks, even months sometimes.
Wow, I didn't realize it could be that long. Anything else? Long-term stuff, I mean.
PDT is generally pretty safe, but like anything, there are risks. Some people might get some scarring, or their skin color might change a little where they were treated, and very rarely there can be more serious problems. But that's not common. Most people do really well.
So like with any medical procedure, you have to weigh the risks and benefits.
Absolutely. And talk to your doctor, of course, ask questions, make sure you understand everything.
Right, right. Speaking of access, we touched on this before, but is PDT available to everyone? Or is it hard to get?
That's a good question. It's definitely more common now, but there are still, well, barriers. Cost is a big one. Insurance doesn't always cover it. And location matters too. PDT needs special equipment, trained people. Not every hospital has that, especially in rural areas.
It's not just about the science. It's about making sure everyone has a fair chance.
Exactly. And that's where, policy comes in, advocacy, making sure everyone can benefit, not just those who can afford it.
It's bigger than just the science, then.
Oh, for sure. It's about, I don't know, justice, I guess. Making sure everyone benefits from scientific progress.
It's all connected, isn't it? The science, the ethics, society.
It really is. And it's something we need to think about. With every new discovery, every new technology.
Well, we've talked about a lot today. From the cells to the world, I guess.
We have. PDT is a pretty amazing thing when you think about it.
It is. So to wrap things up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember about photodynamic therapy?
I think it's that light can heal, that science can change lives. But we have to be careful, too. Think about the big picture, not just the science, but how it affects people, how it affects the world.
That's a great message. This whole deep dive, it's really been what this show is all about. Taking something complex, breaking it down, making it interesting.
I've enjoyed it. Always fun to talk about science,
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, for another deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and hey, maybe we'll bump into each other at a cocktail party sometime, and we can geek out about science together.
Sounds fun.